allegedly, one of the jurors, I think it's number 17, the name was leaked. I think I might have heard it on one of your shows that you did, or Fox 10's Troy Hagan. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, yes. This is the story that occurred right when the mistrial happened, which was March 5th. People knew who the holdout was because the jury had voted 11 for death. One just wasn't changing her vote from life. And that juror was number 17. And her name was revealed and posted. But then someone on the Jodi Arias support site got a hold of all the names of the jurors and posted the other 11 names. Actually, I don't go on that site that supports Jodi Arias. They might have had 17's name as well. But bottom line is all the names are out there. But the one on the Jodi Arias support site was an official court document. And there were only like 6 copies that were handed out to the lawyers, to some people on the court staff. So there was this big investigation about who had leaked it. And recently, so the recent story related maybe why you're bringing it up now, just a couple of days ago, they said they have been unable to determine it, at least at this point. I don't know if the investigation's over, but right now they haven't been able to pinpoint it. But they have exonerated the court staff. So it really, now it looks like, is it the prosecution team or is it the defense team? Why would the defense might have a motive for wanting to release the 11 names of the people who voted for death, but the defense would never release Juror 17's name because she helped them. She's the reason why Jodi Arias is facing life, not death. So I have no idea, what's going on. And the detrimental effect of the release, even though a release of a court document is, it's a contempt of a court order or whatever, it's wrong and it shouldn't happen. And anyone entrusted with a document should not be releasing it. But the release of 17's name has caused her more of a harmful effect than the other 11 names.
Now, you did see Juror 17, right?
Sure, I saw her.
Now, without getting too much into her, is she just an everyday person? I mean, did you see from your body language to her body language that she had any agenda? We know that there was some family, I think, and maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, her ex-husband maybe was involved with Jan Martinez, possibly?
Right, which is where I'll get criticized if I say anything that criticizes Jan Martinez, but I think that he or his team should have done a little more digging because they knew that her husband had been through the system. And it was a different name. And so I don't know, we don't have the questionnaires, how much probing there was, though. Because, I was there when she was questioned about that, and there was no asking her that I recall, well, what was his name? And, details of it, and who was the prosecutor. There's no evidence she ever went to court or even knew that Jan Martinez had prosecuted her ex-husband, but he turned out to be a bully and abusive, so you would think she'd be happy if he got sent away, as opposed to wanting to get revenge on the prosecutor. So I don't really understand. I don't know everything, but nothing jumped out at me except that Jan Martinez is sort of a one-man band. He likes to try cases alone. He did not like having Bob Schutz up at the table with him, and Schutz used to be his boss as another senior homicide deputy county attorney who was told to be there, but I could never get the story of why he was told to be there. He didn't do anything in terms of participating in front of the jury, but Jan Martinez likes to do everything himself, and he's an extremely hard worker, and he's really smart. He's got like this photographic memory, I'm told, where he can just like read things and remember everything, and that's great. And he's a great trial attorney. But there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much one person can do, and it would have benefited him to have even a paralegal who was adept at social media, just checking everybody's Facebook accounts, for example, and there would have been things that about 17 that jumped out that Jan Martinez could have used early on and probably successfully gotten her booted. If he had just had somebody, scan her Facebook page and see that she liked laws of attraction, and she liked a group that was against Sheriff Arpaio. I mean, those two things alone might have been enough to put her over the hump and be a for-cause removal. He tried to get her removed for cause, and he couldn't. And I think it may have been the end of the line, and he didn't have enough peremptory challenges. Those are the challenges where you can remove someone without stating a reason, because she's 17 out of 19. She was in seat number 17, so he may have just said, I'll roll with it and hope.
Do you remember
an alternate?
Do you remember her reasoning for not wanting to give death to Jodi?
Well, all I remember is that, because I haven't looked at this in a while, Jordan, you got me on the spot here, but is that she, that's okay, she thought that others had an agenda, that they were, like, seeking revenge, and that they just weren't, like, reasoning through it or something. Some of the jurors said she had an agenda to come on and give Jodi life, but you could make the other argument that the jurors who voted death had an agenda too. Who knows? They didn't hear half of what, or maybe they heard half, but they didn't hear most of what that first jury heard in 2013 about how about the details of the crime, and they didn't hear Jodi Arias on the stand and all her lies, and they just didn't have the same stuff. They didn't hear about her road trip and all those details. They just didn't, and Juan Martinez didn't present it the same way. So, and yet 11 voted death, and I thought, wow, these guys must have known more about the case.